Yeah. Or you take the back. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished excellencies and ministers. I think we should start. I got really clear signs, but it is my real pleasure to really welcome you today. This is an important event for us because it's about launching officially now the Team Europe initiative on deforestation-free value chains. And I would also like to thank the Spanish presidency for hosting us in their pavilion. Why the event is so important? Because we want to give a clear signal to our partners that we want to invest also in their transformation, right? This is about creating sustainable trade flows, and that means a lot of transformation in the producing, but also in the consuming countries. And this is what this is all about, because it needs a little bit of financing, a little bit of extra expertise, a little bit of extra push, and we are very glad if we can launch this package today. As I said, it's a joint initiative as Team Europe. We will want to come closer. This is also linked to a lot of other pledges that we made since Glasgow, and I'm really honored to introduce actually our first high-level speaker today. This is Commissioner Sinkevičius, member of the European Commission responsible for fisheries, oceans, and environment. Please, Commissioner, if you could come here and then take the floor. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Excellencies, distinguished guests, dear friends. It's, of course, my pleasure to be with you, and on behalf of the European Commission, a very warm welcome. We are here to launch this Team Europe initiative on deforestation-free value chains. Team Europe is quite a lineup. It brings together the European Union, EU member states, the European Investment Bank, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And the first time that we have teamed up, it was in the fight against COVID. That experience was very positive. So we decided to keep the team together for other major challenges. And right at the top of the list is global deforestation. You all know the scale of the problem. Forests are nearly 1/3 of our planet's surface, and they play a crucial role for humanity and the environment. And they are the second biggest reservoir of carbon after the oceans, and they soak up to 1.8 gigatons of carbon every year. So we have made many promises to protect them and stop deforestation and forest loss. And despite those good intentions, the world lost 100 million hectares of forest between 2000 and 2020, with agriculture driving 90% of that loss. And when we cut down forests, we drain that reservoir of carbon. Massive volumes of carbon dioxide are released, driving the process of climate change. If we have learned one thing in the last 20 years, it's that you can't fix such problems only with good intentions. You need a legal approach, and you need appropriate incentives for everyone involved in both producer and consumer countries. And that's why in Europe, as part of the EU Green Deal, we recently adopted new legislation in this area and EU regulation on deforestation-free product supply chains. Starting at the end of next year, the new law will shake up the market. It's designed to ensure that a set of key goods exported or placed on the EU market are legal and deforestation-free. It's a powerful tool for protecting forests and the people who depend on them. A law to protect biodiversity and to bring down carbon emissions. The law is built around sustainability. It's designed to ensure that forest value chains remain viable for producers and exporters, as we look to the longer term, and that no further forests are cut down for agricultural purposes. Team Europe is determined to help that sustainability come into being. And that's why we are here today with the launch of a new initiative on deforestation-free value chains. It's a joint launch together with the governments of France, Germany, and the Netherlands, and I very much hope that many others also will join. The total commitments that we are putting on the table add up to 70 million euros. A very important point here that it's a dynamic number which is only going to go up. Usually when we speak, we usually use term up to, but here I'm extremely happy to say that we bounce from 70 million. And I'm truly proud to announce that EU contribution amounts to almost 32 million. I have to stress that these are new funds. So they come on top of the significant investments that are already being dedicated to addressing deforestation-free value chains, which are now being implemented by the EU and member states on the ground. Natural question. So what exactly we hoping to do? We're here to support partner countries in the common goal of protecting these forests and ensuring their sustainable management. Together, we will support producers and vulnerable groups like smallholder farmers and indigenous peoples, and the goal is helping them ensure that the products they put on the market are deforestation-free. We want to facilitate an inclusive transition. And to do that, we have built our initiative on 3 key elements. The first one is a project known by the acronym SAFE, which stands for Sustainable Agriculture for Forest Ecosystem. It's the real flagship of the initiative, and it's the place where we concentrate most of the funds. Its key goal is to enhance support for smallholder farmers and producer countries. The idea is to ensure traceability and enable full access to the EU market. And it's already being implemented in 4 places: Brazil, Ecuador, Indonesia, and Zambia. But with new funding commitments from our member states today, we will be, of course, scaling up the project further. Next year, we expand to Vietnam, and the Democratic Republic of Congo and other countries will follow soon. The second element is a new Team Europe hub on deforestation-free value chains. It will be established as part of the SAFE program to serve as a central resource for information to partner countries and to ensure coherence of actions. And the third element is a new technical assistance facility which will offer tailored expertise to partner countries with particular focus on critical requirements like geolocation and systems for traceability. So that's a brief outline of our activities. But as I hope you can see, it's a testament of our commitment to join forces and safeguard forests for a sustainable future. What we showcase today is just the, I would say, latest addition. It complements the existing partnership on forests with partner countries, for which we have already committed 1 billion euros between 2021 and 2024 for conservation, restoration, and sustainable management of forest wildlife. And of course, most importantly, it's a team effort. So I'm very pleased now to give the floor to our esteemed Team Europe representatives who share this vision and fill you in on more details. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And indeed, the next speaker I have the honor to announce is the Minister from France for Ecological Transition, Cohesion of the Territories, Monsieur Béchu. The floor is yours, please.
Dear colleagues, distinguished delegates, dear participants, first of all, I would like naturally to thank Commissioner Sinkevicius and European Commission for the organization of this launch event. And I include, of course, in my congrats Spain for its presidency and for this very specific place. It comes indeed at a critical time for the implementation of the European regulation on deforestation-free products, as we are almost 1 year away from application of the new due diligence requirements to thousands of businesses. Time is short, and the challenges are huge. That is why we need a strong, we need an ambitious, we need a coordinated EU approach. I believe this Team Europe initiative at COP28 is a major step forward in the right direction. France has been a strong supporter of the adoption of an EU regulation on deforestation-free products from the very beginning. Under French presidency of EU Council, we obtained a decisive agreement in the Council which fostered the process at the European level. Indeed, we strongly believe that reducing our environmental footprint on imports of agricultural products is absolutely key to reach the ambitious climate and biodiversity goals we have set ourselves in the Paris Agreement and in the coming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. EU countries must lead by example by enhancing value chains for sustainable consumption and, in the meantime, assist producer countries to shift towards deforestation-free models. That is why, at the national level, we have been implementing since 2018 a national strategy to combat imported deforestation, the first of its kind. And we can already see every positive results. For example, the strategy has helped open new discussions between major public and private actors in critical sectors, such as cocoa, with the creation in 2021 of the French Initiative for Sustainable Cocoa. It aims to improve the income of cocoa farmers sustainably, their families and communities, in order to enable them to benefit more from their production. This new Team Europe initiative will also build on these national initiatives to bring together and scale up our efforts. Indeed, we will reach the environmental objectives of the new regulation only if we ensure strong cooperation and partnerships with third countries. With this initiative, we acknowledge our responsibility to ensure that the transition to sustainable value chains leaves no one behind and benefits as well smallholders, indigenous peoples, and local communities. I take this opportunity to reiterate to all partner countries who are concerned. These regulations' main intention is not to close the commercial borders of the European Union. On the contrary, this legislation aims to support the transition towards sustainable agriculture and the preservation of forests. It will help create new market opportunities for high-value deforestation-free products in the EU, and this Team Europe initiative will provide concrete operational help to lift potential blockages, aid and facilitate a wide access to these opportunities. We need to find concrete solutions, not by putting forest under a cloister, but by involving the people who live in and from them and who are its first guardians. With this conviction, I am very pleased to announce France's contribution of 5 million euros to support the operationalization of this initiative. We will also share a full-time dedicated expertise. These funds and expertise will benefit on the ground producing country stakeholders and smallholder farmers to address the root causes of deforestation. These contributions adds to the 60 million euro financed by France each year since 2018 in the framework of its national strategy to fight imported deforestation in support of over a dozen projects worldwide with smallholder farmers and facilitating the uptake of sustainable and zero deforestation local farming products. Very concretely, these funds have supported local projects in a dozen countries in South America, Asia, and Africa. These projects were set up to address the root causes of deforestation and to support the development of green, resilient, and inclusive economy for the sustainable development of communities and the protection of tropical forests. It is also part of a wider effort of supporting forested countries in conserving the vital reserves of carbon and biodiversity located in primary forests and important wetland ecosystems such as mangroves and peatlands. A few days ago, here in Dubai, President Macron announced 500 million euros for forests and the launch of the first country packages for forest, nature, and climate. These packages will provide innovative and alternative way of financing the preservation of forests and include the objective of fostering sustainable value chains. And I would like to thank, once again, the Commission for joining us in our support to Papua New Guinea and the Republic of Congo only a few minutes ago. In this same spirit, and to conclude, the joint work of the EU and its member states in this Team Europe initiative will be decisive for global efforts to achieve the goals of the Glasgow Leaders' Declaration on Forest and Land, used to halt and reverse forest loss by 2030. It will also respond to the commitments of the Amsterdam Declaration Partnership. I believe that together, with ambition, with determination, we can make this EU regulation a turning point for the protection of forests all over the world while creating new opportunities of development. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre. And I will now give the floor to the German State Secretary for Economic Cooperation Development, State Secretary Jochen Flasper. You have been personally really a driving force behind this Team Europe initiative. Please join me at the lectern.
Thanks, Florica. Commissioner, dear colleagues, Christoph, Stephen, I'm really happy and also a bit proud to be part of this group, of this Team Europe initiative on deforestation-free value chains, on deforestation-free products. Let me start by saying that a non-deforestation world, deforestation-free world, is not an idea that is coming from Europe and that we are bringing to the world against their will. It was already in Rio in 1992 that we addressed the issue that we have to go down with deforestation. And it is one of our SDGs. Everybody in the world agreed on that. But there were some who implemented and some not. Look at shining examples like Costa Rica, who did so much to turn it around and being now again a forest-rich, diverse country. And in many areas of the world, you find it. And then you have also countries that did not fully implement. And also in those countries, you have the good examples and the worse examples. So what we are doing here is simply to implement with our regulation something that had been decided on the world level. And then you have an unfair competition between those who are following what the world has decided and those who not. Of course, it is cheaper to provide products that are coming out of clear cutting of our virgin forests and specifically tropical forests compared to those who are following the rules, providing products from sustainable forestry. So what you can do, and that is what we did in the past, and sorry, as a German, I'm not, tend to speak now a bit about budgets and budget restrictions. What we did in the past is we financed against this unfairness. We supported those who are investing in sustainable forestry, providing fair, sustainable products coming out of forests to compensate the disadvantage they have against clear-cutting products. And that we cannot longer afford. It's unpayable. We cannot. And therefore, we need this kind of regulation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is a smart way forward. But there is no free breakfast, as we all know. At the same time, it means a lot of changes in our partner countries. They had a different reality, and those operating there have to adapt to the new situation. And that's why it is a matter of fairness also from our side, that yes, we are convinced that the way we are going is right, but yes, we are also in a position to support those who have to adapt to the new regulation. And that's the Team Europe initiative. We as Germany are really proud to be part of this Team Europe initiative. We wanted to have them. We are happy that it is, also getting from the environment into the genetics of development. As I'm coming from environment, I know what I'm talking about. And it has to be the natural way how we operate in the world. So we will provide sources in some of the partner countries, but we also want to streamline it in all our country packages with our partner countries where cooperation on forests, biodiversity and climate is a matter. And we also will second someone to the team. Thanks again to the Commission for your leadership, Virginio. Thanks along again to our partners. Denmark also joined, others as well. So a fantastic day for the forests in the world.
Thank you very much for your contribution, very clear words, State Secretary Vlasbach. I can now give the floor to our last speaker, which is the Vice Minister for Foreign Trade and Development Cooperation, Stephen Colette from the Netherlands. Vice Minister, please come.
As the last speaker, let me take you to Ghana, a few hours north of Accra, where I love to go because I'm a really cocoa addict. I like chocolate, like many of you, but I also am very much engaged for years already in the cocoa sector. Now, visiting smallholder farmers in the cocoa sector makes you realize how different our lives are. Makes you realize how big of a challenge, despite all the certification we have been trying to support, how big of a challenge cocoa farming remains. And how important it is not to be relying only on a global market, but also to produce your own food and to have a diverse income. When we talk with those farmers about what's happening in Europe, they are very keen and eager to learn and to grow and to develop. When we talk about the forests in Ghana, and you can replace Ghana, of course, by other countries which also grow cocoa, these farmers understand maybe even better than we do how important forests are for livelihoods. They don't want to chop the woods or chop the trees and use the trees. They don't have a choice sometimes. When you go even further north in Ghana, there is refugees from Sahel countries which are very unstable at the moment, and they don't have a choice than encroaching in forests. They try to grow cocoa. It takes you about 6 years to grow a cocoa tree. And they are also looking forward to have a better regulated market, to be guided in a transition towards a better income. And they look forward to the regulations which we put in place. Now, if you're backing Accra, there's concern, because they see a sector which is hugely important for the economy, where there's new regulations. There's a lot of insecurity in this sector. And let's be honest about that. That's always the case with new regulations. But they also see that if the European market share, which for cocoa goes for main part through the port of Amsterdam, when that market share will be fully sustainable, fully deforestation-free, that will be a game changer. Not only vis-à-vis the European market, but also vis-à-vis other global markets. And those farmers in Ghana, they understand that producing under one regime, one quality of production, be it sustainable, is advantageous for them. So for me and for us as partners in this Team Europe, the big effort is now to support the transition for these farmers, to support the transition in the world markets, to ensure that deforestation-free commodities becomes the norm. And we have been jointly fighting for that as the Amsterdam Declaration partners. And I'm so glad, under leadership also of the European Commission, that we are now entering the next stage. We will play our part. We have been doubling our efforts on deforestation in development cooperation, and we will join this Team Europe with 20 million euros additional funding to actually do precisely what I started with. Join those farmers, be it in Africa, Asia, or Latin America, to improve their lives by having a better proposition from the European market, which will become a better proposition from the global markets. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister. And I think also good for illustrating the challenges that this regulation brings, but also the benefits a sustainable trade flow will bring for everybody, from smallholders to consumers. This brings us to the end. This is not the end, however, of this Team Europe initiative. We heard the voices of 3 or 4 actually very eminent contributors, but there are many more also here in the room. I know that Slovenia is in the room and will join us, and many other countries as well from the European Union. So this is just the beginning, but we are very determined to now bring the right expertise, the right support into the transition to our partner countries, so as to have really valuable deforestation-free value chains from producer and also consuming countries. So thank you very much. Let's give an applause for this initiative. Thank you.